Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss UPSC syllabus orientation, book list, pattern, trend analysis, strategy for UPSC mains 2026 exam of environmental segment in GS paper 3 students. So this particular environmental section is playing an increasing role in the GS paper 3 segment students. Nowadays, UPSC examiners are asking more and more questions from that, and many of them are related to current affairs. So we need to approach this syllabus in a very significant manner. So we will cover all the important aspect of your preparation and strategy aspects in this video, students. Let's go into the environmental section syllabus in GS paper 3. So with respect to ecology biodiversity, they are mentioning conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, environmental impact assessment, students. Overall, if you observe, there are only three major components in your syllabus, students. For this, Shankar IAS environmental book itself will be a single source reference with additional reference from basic science NCERTs, which we will be discussing in our sources column. But now, to focus on the syllabus, students, while covering the conservation, you need to give maximum importance to all the biodiversity related conservation aspects and the recent conservation aspects which are done at the national and international level. You should be very clear, especially the targets which has been set by India also to fight against the climatic goals. You need to be very aware of that. Environmental pollution, you need to know the impacts of the pollution and what aspects it is disturbing and playing a role in the negative aspect. You need to have the dimensional things in your notes making column. Environmental impact assessment, here ready-made reference, you can take it from the Shankar IAS environment book, students. In this manner, we need to update this environment with current affairs because they are going to ask most of your questions with inspirations from current affairs, and some basic questions will be there in the first segment of the question, but second segment they will relate it to current affairs. So you need to follow the Hindu newspaper as well as the Vision monthly magazine to answer those questions, students. Let's focus upon the sources to be referred. With respect to NCERT 12th standard biology NCERT, in this you can focus on, that is the ecology chapter of chapter 11, 12, 13, but maximum weightage can be given to chapter number 13 on biodiversity and conservation, because conservation is mentioned as part of your UPSC main syllabus of environment. So you can make use of this NCERT book in a very good manner to understand basics, and you can go for the ready-made single reference for environment. I would be suggesting for UPSC mains paper 3 is environment, the recent edition, there is a 11th edition, you can make use of it. Coming to the UPSC 2025 mains environmental related questions, overall there were 5 questions, students, which were asked from 20 questions. That is, out of 20 questions, 5 questions were asked only from environmental column. This is showing an increasing trend with respect to UPSC mains GS3 paper, students, because overall the role of economy in your especially the GS paper 3, they have reduced it a bit and given that extra role for environment in the questions. That is how the UPSC examiners have replaced the economy by environment. But we need to be very much current affairs updated while preparing for this syllabus, students. If you look at the question, first one, what is carbon capture, utilization and storage? What is the potential role of CCUS in tackling climatic change? Overall, there are two aspects, but the question is very direct. When you know the meaning of capture, utilization and storage related techniques, you need to necessarily explain this concept with the help of diagram, students. So then only we can fetch extra mark in our answers. Second question, seawater intrusion in coastal aquifers is a major concern in India. What are the causes of seawater intrusion and remedial measures? Overall, students, there are two major segments in the question, but first major thing what you need to address is what are the challenges of seawater intrusion which is creating concern. Then you can talk about like some of the causes, then the remedial measures. Overall, 5 points you can put in each column, or you can even contribute up to 4 points also, but writing at least 10 points will fetch us maximum marks. With the help of diagrams, we need to present our answers, students. Coming to the third question, examine. So first two questions are 10 marker questions, so you can stick to 10 points to 12 points on a maximum. But when it comes to the remaining three questions, if you observe, they are asking 250 words, students. That means it's a 15 marker. So what I would be like suggesting you is, whenever you are writing a 15 marker, try to write minimum 12 to 15 points. And here the question is pertaining to examine. When your examiner is asking examine, you need to talk about positive and negatives, both the dimension, the factors responsible for depleting groundwater, and what steps are taken by government to mitigate such depletion of groundwater. So overall, it's a very direct question. You should also explain this answer with the help of diagrams here, students. And coming to the fourth question, mineral resources are fundamental to the country's economy and these are exploited by mining. Why is mining considered a environmental hazard? Explain the remedial measures required to reduce the environmental hazard due to mining. Overall, students, there are three major segments, but two being the prominent theme. That is, you need to talk about mining as an environmental hazard. So, what are the various negative implications it's creating? And you need to talk about the remedial measures also. And you should try to understand and present this answer also in a pictorial format. That is, with the help of diagrams and various examples which are happening in our country with respect to mining, like Goa mining and all. You can quote as examples in your answers to justify the negative impact of pollution. Fifth question, write a review on India's climate commitments under Paris Agreement 2015. So mention how they has been further strengthened by COP 2026. In this direction, how was the first nationally determined contribution intended by India has been updated. So overall, students, there are three segments in the question. You need to first talk about the review and mention like how it has been strengthened. In the first component only, you have two segments, and in the second half of the question, they are asking one more segment, that is how you are the India's nationally determined contribution has been updated, what target we have achieved and what are the revised targets under that. Overall, three component of the question, 15 marker. Each subheading you can put 5 points. Overall, 15 points maximum you can contribute here, students. And try to write all the targets and try to mention and link your answers with United Nations, that is Framework Conference on Climate Change Summits and various events. Then only we will be getting maximum marks in these environmental questions. Let's now focus upon the pattern of environment in GS paper 3. Last 10 to 12 years, initially if you observe, there were only two questions and that carried 20 marks. But if you look at, there were some years they asked even one question also. But the recent trend, this year there were 5 questions for 65 marks students. Last year, 3 questions of 40 marks weightage. The previous year on static, they were asking around 50 questions. So what you can assume for the mains 2026, you can minimum expect 50 marks from environmental column out of the 250 marks in GS paper 3. And most of these questions, if you look at the focus areas, they are related to current affairs only. So they are also focusing upon the various types of pollution and its impacts and the United Nations Framework Conference COP26. So they focused on that also. And with respect to environmental impact assessment, have a clear notes and diagrammatic notes making ready students to present your answer. Coming to the trend analysis, earlier they were focusing on general concepts like liver ranking, mining hazards, but nowadays if you see, they are more into technological aspects of environmental pollution. So what technology plays a major role in environment, you need to update it, and also the various protocols. Water obsession, UPSC most of the times they are asking on national water policy, seawater intrusion, groundwater depletion in some of the previous years. So give maximum weightage to both the surface water and groundwater. Climate governance and technology, here try to focus upon the UNFCCC recent summits and its outcomes, students. Also the various renewable energy technologies such as electrical vehicles and green grids. EAA is going to be important topic mentioned in syllabus also. So try to make notes out of it. That's a repeated theme, and mining is also one repeated theme, students. And what is the strategy you can take for UPSC Mains 2026? First, try to read the statics in a thorough manner, make notes out of it, and try to draw the diagrams which are given in NCERT Biology as well as in Shankar IAS Environment book. And for governance framework, try to look into the Environmental Protection Act of 1986, Biodiversity Act of 2002, and the EAA recent updates, and what are the major provisions. You need to have a clear ready-made notes for that. Then moving to the second aspect, you need to update environment necessarily with current affairs, because the GS paper 3 is going to be morely contemporary paper only. So current affairs will play a huge role. Here, while reading it, try to focus on the global summits such as COP, recent summits and its outcomes, and India's targets regarding that. And with respect to reports and indices, try to focus upon IPCC reports, WHO reports, NITI Aayog reports, students, to quote in your answer. And try to link technology in your answers, and also whenever you are reading also try to focus upon the recent climate technologies, so where questions can be expected. And with respect to answer writing, we need to quote case studies in your answer, like Bellary iron mining case or Goa mining or siltation issues. And you have to maximum use of diagrams and maps to fetch maximum marks. With respect to structure, whenever you are writing any challenges, you need to come up with way forward or solution, either in the conclusion or as a way forward column. That time you need to talk about the sustainable development goals in the conclusion or way forward in your environmental section answer, students. And with respect to marks distribution, environment is playing 26 percentage weightage in your GS paper 3. This is where the maximum number of questions were asked in 2025 mains examination. Second area being that is economy, that is economic development. Then if you look at science and tech also played a equivalent 20% weightage, and internal security also played a equivalent 20% weightage. Then you can move to agriculture, and finally you can come to disaster management. This is how you need to give priority to the syllabus weightage in GS paper 3, students. And value addition to be referred for environment, Vision Monthly Mains magazine, that is a main summary which is coming before the exam. You can refer it for the current affairs updates on environment. And UPSC toppers notes I have shared in the Telegram group, make use of it. And UPSC toppers answer copy we have already discussed in our YouTube channel. Go through that, students, for the answer rating template and structure. Current affairs is going to play a huge role in your environment. So you need to be contemporary with your environmental preparation in GS paper 3. In addition to that, if you have any further challenges in the environment preparation, you can comment in the comment section, or you can join the Telegram group which is given in the description and get your doubts clarified, students. Thank you.